really is super well written. It's very questionable who to root for. There are twists that happen in this film that you think, like, should I be rooting for him instead of her?
Yeah, some dark comedies work and some I despise. I am a fan of dark, bloody, kind of despicable humor, and there was a lot of that in this. If you're a fan and you know what he's going for, and the tone of the movie, with all the gags of puking, and it's perfect for us.
Hello, friends and listeners. You have a new episode of WatchSkip Plus. We want to be your go-to movie source for insightful and analytical and critical and pop-cultured movie reviews. My name is Cupcake, also known as Jose. I'm joined by my co-host, Mike, also known as the Wildebeest. He's still ensconced in his Sundance cocoon, but he's coming out to review a new movie. Mike, how are you doing? Obviously hydrating. And
yes, doing great. This is the last Sundance. This is the last day of the last Sundance in Utah. So
you saw my future husband in person, Fred Heckinger, and you bumped into somebody.
I bumped into Brendan Gleeson's kid. I've got an old man bladder, so I had to go and pee, and I was trying to run real fast, but I had to use my phone to like see my way out of the theater.
Yeah.
And so as I'm like, open the door, I look up and I like bump into a guy, and there's two other people standing there. It's the whole cast of the show ready to come on in doing a Q&A because there was like 20 minutes left. And so I bump into him and I'm like, oh, sorry. Oh, hi. I'm watching your movie in there. It's really good. And I walk off. It's like, what the fucking shit was that, you dum-dum? I'm like, what did I just do? Olivia Wilde, I saw her on stage. Lots of great directors have been here for Q&As. Somebody who I really looked up to when I wanted to be a teacher, Jane Elliott. There was a doc on her, and she showed up. I've seen so much stuff, and we're going to definitely do a little Sundance episode. I'd love to have my buddy Pat on again if we can make that work. And
yeah. Also, I hear Cooper Hoffman has a hairy butt. So,
yeah, he's got a big hairy peach that you won't be excited to see dildos be shoved up.
Speaking of slightly hairy crack peach, what are we reviewing this week?
Yeah, he does pull it out. I forgot. He loves to pull that ass out.
The Globes are out now. Dylan, thank you
Dylan,
so much.
We are reviewing Sam Raimi's Send Help.
Woo, Send Help. The return of Sam Raimi, right? Maybe, question mark. He disappeared into the MCU with Doctor Strange and the Mountain of Madness.
Why do you put somebody who has never really cared about realistic CGI in such a CGI heavy movie? Like, it's not important to him. He doesn't care about putting the time and effort into something that looks realistic. He likes things kind of being cartoony. So it just...
Yeah, it's an odd choice that Sam Raimi did that. But I think a bunch of us pretty much threw streamers out the goddamn window when we were seeing that Sam Raimi had a new movie coming out that wasn't tied to a franchise. It wasn't tied to, obviously he's very famous for Evil Dead. So that was the indie that put him on the map in terms of horror. Before that, there was like a frantic action comedy film called Crime Wave, which I happen to deeply love. And so if you look at Raimi's filmography, obviously there are the Evil Dead films, but then we've got Army of Darkness and Darkman, which kind of have the dark comedy action quotient going on. Drag Me to Hell was one. I kind of called that Jump Scare the movie, but there's a lot of, this feels a lot like Drag Me to Hell, Sam Raimi. We'll definitely talk about that in our spoilered section. So don't forget, we have a spoiler-free episode, which you're in now, folks. But 2 days from now, we're going to premiere a spoilered discussion where we ruin the film, essentially, and do spoilers. But so where do you fall on the Sam Raimi spectrum? I could take or leave Mountain of Mad, whatever the hell it's fucking called. I could not. I can take or leave that Doctor Strange sequel. But where do you fall on Sam Raimi?
I'm pretty much a huge stan. I'm a big fan. You didn't mention his Western with your bae.
The Quick and the Dead with a young Leo and my girl Sharon Stone, Russell Crowe. You know what else we didn't mention? The fact that he did Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Spider-Man 1 and 2 and 3.
1, 2, and 3, and so that was Tobey Maguire, and then obviously I guess Feige et al. Thought, well, let's put him back into comic book movies, and we got the Doctor Strange film. I think a lot of people poo-pooed on Spider-Man 3. I mean, when he starts dancing like the Mask, I was like, okay, fuck this movie. But I love Sam Raimi.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, well, Sam Raimi,
I'm a defender.
Yeah, Raimi's one of my heroes too. He has a production house, and I mean, he produced the remake of The Evil Dead, which was spot on and amazing and wonderful. So, Raimi, love this guy. Our writers are Damien, Shannon, and Mark Swift. So I have already jizzed over these two guys in previous episodes, but basically, Shannon and Swift, many will know them because it was their script that gave us that first amazing crossover film, Freddy versus Jason. Mm-hmm. A long gestating, lots of storylines, and they really worked it. And that, I'm sorry, I love that movie to death.
Me too.
They did remake Friday the 13th. Many are divided on that. I think that remake is very polarizing. I happen to fucking love it. You said you're a stan for Sam Raimi. I'm a stan for Shannon and Swift.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
They did also the Baywatch film, which was
that.
fucking hysterical, and I loved it too. And apparently this took about 6 years for them in development, shopping it, and then Raimi basically essentially came in and sort of rescued it because he was looking for a new project. How do you feel about Shannon and Swift's other films, those 3 films that we talked about? Are you a fan?
Yeah, I love horror comedy. I think we've discussed that a lot on the show. And that's their specialty, is like mixing like comedy in different meta ways, whether it's with horror or whether it's with action. And I really do dig their style. I'm a fan. So yeah, I like Baywatch. I defend it all day because it's a very funny, smart spoof, satire, and
action
comedy all in one.
We should also mention that, just with Shannon and Swift's whole vibe, they wrote Shark Tale because, that's... Yeah. Anywho.
The hip hop shark version of Finding Dory, is that what it kind of was supposed to be or something?
I still love it. Still a stand for them. Our music is by one Danny Elfman. We often talk about, hey, if you don't know who so-and-so is, you probably shouldn't be listening to us, which is very rude. I apologize. But I'm going to say the same thing. If you don't know who Danny Elfman is, you probably shouldn't be listening to us. One of the premier music composers, obviously many know of him because of his collaborations with Tim Burton. I mean, just iconic scores, right? Mm-hmm. He did front the 80s band Oingo Boingo. He's even in, is it Weird Science? It's a dead man's party.
Weird Science.
Weird Science. I know. I absolutely love Danny Elfman. He's married to Bridget Fonda. Don't go down that Googling hole. There's some weird stuff going on between him and her and him and Me Tooing and whatever. But anyway, he's a great composer. His Nightbreed score, fantastic. Although that term has a different connotation in the gay community. How do you feel about Danny Elfman?
Danny Elfman, I mentioned how I kind of geeked out when I saw him at our convention on a past episode at our local Comic-Con. He was there. So I'm a big fan, and this shows that he's versatile. I'm kind of glad that he's gotten over his circusy boom, 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 like Tim Burton.
His Big Adventure.
Yeah, I'm glad that he's done with the whole like Tim Burton circusy vibe that kind of followed his career. This shows that he's kind of done with that, and he actually was recently playing drums for the A$AP Rocky Saturday Night Live performance.
I had no idea.
And that's pretty cool. You should. It's really theatrical, the performances. So, but that's amazing. He's super talented. He's somebody that we all idolize.
Yeah, like a cooler, more artistic Carrot Top. So our DP is Bill Pope. He's one of my favorite DPs of all time. And just look at The Matrix, folks. He shot The Matrix. I think that's really all we need to say about Bill Pope. However, I will say this. He has collaborated with Sam Raimi before. So Darkman, Army of Darkness, Spider-Man 3. Also has collaborated with Edgar Wright. So I'm looking at Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is just absolutely fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Driver and The World's End. Thank you. And you say he shot Elizabeth Banks's Charlie's Angels, which is one of my all-time favorite fucking movies. Love that movie. I'm ready to get a Charlie's Angels tattoo, just like the girls had in that movie. That's how much I love that movie, folks. How do you feel about Bill Pope? He's, this is a little odd. He's shot also for Robert Rodriguez, Alita, Battle Angel. He's also done MCU films. He shot Shang-Chi and then Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, aka Rick and Morty, the movie. How do you fall on Bill Pope? I love this guy.
He makes things look so shiny. He just has such a sheen and beauty. Wonderful. Yeah, he brings out like the color and things like that. He's not one that normally plays in muted colors and muted like lighting. He usually likes to bring things out. So I do like his films. I mean, even like the World's End, which is darkened in bars. He's got this wonderful bright green, and the way that all that kind of just squirts around and brings so much brightness to what's kind of a darker film for him. But he really knows how to make things stand out and look bright and beautiful. And he doesn't play with super dark. You're never going to see him make something really dark or muted in tone. It's just not him. And I like that. I like that.
Although he shot The Spirit, and that is there's still bursts of colors, though, right?
It's got a gloss to the whole movie, and that's kind of what he's good at doing. He
squirts it, and that term has another connotation as well. And so obviously I'm just going to say The Matrix, he shot all those sequels. Talk about brilliant photography.
Great, yeah.
Now you mentioned a term on the last episode, two-hander, which also has a different connotation in the gay community. And this film is basically a two-hander. We've got Rachel McAdams, who is gorgeous, Mean Girls, The Notebook. I mean, I think those are her most popular. I'm going to say The Hot Chick, because fucking love The Hot Chick. And then, of course, True Detective Season 2. I know a lot of people shit on that. I love Season 2 of True Detective. And then, of course, Dylan O'Brien. We've talked about him from the humble beginnings of Teen Wolf to really great indie fare like Twinless, which we just talked about. That just hit Hulu, folks. Please watch that. He was in Love and Monsters, of course, The Maze Runner.
Pony Boy,
which I need to see, apparently. Dylan has this thing where the last 3 movies he's gotten his man globes out, and I applaud it because he's not only a strong actor, but it's beautiful. But how do you feel about our 2 actors? And then we'll segue into our spoiler-free review of Send Help.
I love Rachel McAdams. I think she's great. And this is a different role for her. They kind of uglied her down, which was interesting.
Yeah, a la Monster, Charlize Theron.
Yeah, they tried to make her look ugly and unattractive in very Sam Raimi ways. Like there's a sequence where they have to like really zoom in on this little piece of tuna fish on the corner of her mouth to really make her seem disgusting. That's what they had to do. But I adore her. You didn't mention Family Stone, which is one of my favorite all-time movies. Rest in peace,
that's
Diane.
Right.
I love her in that, and I love that movie to death. I've seen it. It's my favorite Christmas movie. And then most people are like, what? Shut up. It's like, it is. It's like one of those sweet things, and I love everybody in it. But anyway, I adore her.
I feel like she can kind of do no wrong. Like even when she's in stuff that's, just kind of middling. And I apologize if you think this is middling, but there's a film called A Most Wanted Man. Philip Seymour Hoffman is in it. It's kind of like a tepid, like espionage kind of thing, but she's in it playing a lawyer, and she's really good, but nobody saw that fucking movie.
She's in that movie with the guy I bumped into, the Gleason boys, this time traveling romance movie. So they're called.
Oh, it's called About Time. Yes. Donald Gleason. Yeah.
That's who I bumped into. It was like, durr.
Speaking of bright pale peaches, Gleason in About Time. Like, it was wonderful. Okay. So enough about the gay talk and male butts. Here we go. Spoiler-free thoughts. I'm going to start on Send Help. I'll start. Spoiler-free thoughts. We went from possibly the worst fucking movie of 2026. Now, granted, February 1st we're recording, right? So we went from Mercy, which you hated, I loved, and then we come to Send Help, which it's the first must-see of 2026. I really wish I had not seen the trailer. And although the trailer doesn't give everything away, I think if you had gone into this completely blind, it really would have been a stunner. Like, if you had seen it at Sundance, you would have been like, holy fucking Christ, everybody see Send Help, right? But I think because the trailer gives that away, I had a couple issues with the script. There is an editing fail that I think speaks of studio intervention at the beginning of this film. I'll talk about that in the spoiler section. And when it is a two-hander like you're talking, there are some bits where it gets a little slow, right? And so I think if the script has a flaw, it's that. But the way that they are building this psychological tension between the two of them, and then setting up their characters, I just think it's a really, really great screenplay. And I know I'm just, Shannon Swift. I know I'm doing that, folks, but it really is super well written. And what I think is going to be very dividing for some audiences is it's very questionable who to root for, because things happen. There are twists that happen in this film that you think like, oh my God, should I be rooting for him instead of her? And so, kudos to Shannon and Swift for really turning that around. And I think the film still has an impact on me after seeing it, because I'm thinking like, things happen and we make choices, but sometimes they really might be based on bad motivations. But does that really completely delete the entire person or their achievements or their personalities? In the world of cancel culture and, being connected to technology, this screenplay is very telling about how we show ourselves, in private, in public, and what really happens when it's just two people on an island, this kind of like island thriller kind of thing. I think, it works when it's like three people or a whole group, like Eden. And I'm not talking about Ron Howard's Eden, speaking of man butts. I'm talking about there was this low budget indie called Eden, which is streaming. Gregory Peck's son is in it or whatever. That actually works because when you have a group of people, it's very Lord of the Flies. But when it's just two, it's very tenuous. But this script was a slam dunk. Raimi, in prime form. As I had mentioned before, a lot of the shocks in here are very Drag Me to Hell. So folks, if there was a lot of like stuff going on, a lot of vomiting or whatever. Maybe I'll edit out the hand motion that I just did. But there's a lot of vomiting. There's a lot of blood. It's very extreme, but man, and McAdams and O'Brien, holy slam dunk acting craziness. These two performances, I know this is like a pop thriller, but they are award worthy. They really are, especially O'Brien, who has the really, really kind of tough role here. And again, kudos to the writers, because when you start questioning who to root for, they've written a really good film. So yeah, it's hard watch. Please get all up on this. Send Help. Send yourselves to the theaters. Do it. How about you? What'd you think?
I thought that this is a pitch perfect dark comedy. That's why there's no one you really can hang your hat on. And yeah, some dark comedies work and some I despise. There was one at Sundance I saw that I just hated. I know Very Bad Things works for me, but doesn't work for everybody. So I know you hated it, but I love it. I'm a fan of dark, bloody, kind of despicable humor. And there was a lot of that in this, because And there's a lot of misery in this as well. So, and that's kind of a dark comedy too. And you don't know who to like because Khan is kind of an asshole. But on the other hand, you've got one of the best performances ever. So it's like, I love this kind of film. And when you give it to Sam Raimi and you allow him, give him the money and the locale to just have fun. Granted, there's some CGI animals that it's just Raimi. You just have to realize he doesn't give a shit about things looking real in CGI. He doesn't. So you can't nitpick that. But I mean, you can. But if you're a fan and you know what he's going for and the tone of the movie with all the gags of puking and yeah, it's par for the course. And I had a blast with this movie. I loved it so much. 100%. It was a blast to me. I see this landing on my top 10. I loved this movie so much. There could not be a better popcorn movie, and way to like balance it from one of the worst movies of the year, like you said, to me, to definitely one of the best films of the year. I mean, between this and Bone Temple, 2026 is banging. And then some stuff I'm seeing at Sundance, it's like, this is going to be a really fucking good year in film, and this proves it right here. So get your asses
please
to the theater and go see Sam Raimi Send Help. Just expect a good old time. It's fun. It is two people on an island. They're kind of just having a blast with it there, and enjoy it. There's some fun twists. There's some fun turns. It gets violent. It gets gooey. Yeah. So
Lots
see the movie
vomiting.
and come back and then watch us banter about the spoilers.
Yeah.
So yes,
definitely.
A
So
watch.
I'll just say one thing, and then obviously we'll adjourn this episode. I like saying that now. I feel like Rebecca Ferguson from Mercy. Court's adjourned. But the one thing I'm going to say is that, so way back when I was growing up, there was this movie. Growing up, I make it sound like I'm such a senior citizen, but there was this movie called Indecent Proposal, and I'm only saying this because I hope that we have young subscribers and watchers, especially young cinephiles. Did you read that article in Variety about how high school students are only being assigned portions of books now because they don't have the attention span to do so, to read a full book? And then apparently film students, same thing. They can't sit through a whole film, so they're now being assigned portions of the film to look at and study in school. How crazy is this? Anyway, so way back when, there was a movie called Indecent Proposal, and the concept of the film was that Woody Harrelson and Demi Moore are a married couple. Robert Redford is a millionaire, and he wants to, quote unquote, rent Demi Moore for one night, no rules, $1 million, right? Mm-hmm. But the big thing about that film was it punctured the pop culture zeitgeist because there were all these talk shows. Would you do an indecent proposal or this and that? And I feel a lot of this. Like, if you have a significant other, see this movie because it will start a whole bunch of fucking conversation, let me tell you. Because I think that this also plays with not only gender politics in the office, but also just how men and women relate to each other, and how, society and all these expectations just crash in on the personalities when they collide.
I'll also say, adding on to what you were saying, is that this would make a really good double feature with Fair Play, as far as how office politics and the male and female differences, even though one's a survival out on an island, the other one is survival within an office. And both are great movies with that kind of message.
And for the record, nobody throws up in Fair Play.
No. But they would make a good double, honestly. I would definitely end with Send Help if you were doing
Also, my future husband is in Fair Play, and he does not get his globes out, unfortunately.
You got two
Alden
hubs.
Ehrenreich. I have a lot of future husbands, but speaking of a lot of future husbands, if you want to get married to some of these great podcasts, please do so. So we're talking about our Podfathers, The Gentleman's Guide to Midnight Cinema and Not a Bomb. I'm still never going to live down championing Madam Web on Not a Bomb, but it is what it is. The OG's Night of the Living podcast, also Wild Dream podcast, Death by DVD, Raiders of the podcast, Backlook Cinema podcast with Zoe, our YouTube brothers, the Two Johns, and now for something a little bit different, Caliber 9 from Outer Space. Almost burped there. Feminine Critique, Talk Without Rhythm with Goro, and Mike. Parting thoughts.
Yeah, just continue to get out there and get to the theater. Having the chance to have seen like 30 something films in a full house. I can't tell you how important that experience is for enhancing the film going. I'm going to start going in evenings more just so I can experience the crowd aspect, because I do miss that. It's such an important part of movie going. So I know, yes, I'm a nerd, and some of us do have issues where we don't want to be in crowds. And that's the nice thing about going around 10 or 11 o'clock when I normally go, or at noon, is that you can get away from the crowds. But man, I miss the crowded theater. And
Yeah.
this being my last Sundance, I've got to find ways of mimicking that crowded theater experience. That's so
Yeah.
rare nowadays.
Did you have a crowded theater for this film?
No, I went during the day. I had to sneak it in. It was like
Okay.
the first morning screening before I went off to Sundance. So, no, but there
At
was
11
still,
a.m.
yeah,
At
it was
11
like 10
a.m. my
10
theater
a.m.
was packed.
Really? See, there was like
I
5 or
was
6 people.
Super happy. I
So-
was super happy. It was packed, and it was a good mix of young people. There was a cute little college couple next to me, and they were loving this thing. And then, yeah, it was great. So
It was just
at
me
any
and
rate,
old men.
folks,
Just me
No.
and old men. That's
yes. All right. As always, folks, be kind, be open, be vulnerable, and that's where the art is. Check out our spoilered episode for Send Help, because it's going to be a great discussion. Don't forget, share our episodes. Please also subscribe. Let's make WatchSkip Plus take off.
Yes. Send us some emails or DMs,
And
please. We'd love
comments,
to hear more.
please. We want to hear what you're thinking about these movies too. So
Yeah,
all right.
we will read them if you send them. So
Yes, I will be better about checking that.